They're not million-dollar sports cars or limited editions. They're the cars that shaped our streets and our lives. Today, I'm bringing you one of the few collections with more than 80 popular cars from the 80s and 90s. Cars we all saw, some of us owned, and many have forgotten, but this collector didn't forget them. Welcome to the sanctuary of popular classics from the Raider collection. My name is Mark and I love cars. Shall we start it up?
Let's go. Let's see how it goes.
And the Senator B has 6 cylinders in line, which is an interesting car with a great 3-liter engine. And it's one of the highest quality sedans Opel ever made. Also, the interior is spectacular with all digital leather. Let me see the dashboard. Look at the fully digital dashboard. It's so cool. Oops, no one is coming without.
Oops, no one is coming without accelerating or anything. We let a little bit in.
This one had neither leather nor fabric seats.
Check the mileage too. 100,000 kilometers.
A very nice sedan. This one. We'll test drive it someday. Should I stay?
Yes. Let's see how it goes.
I'm sure it runs just as well as it looks. Look at him.
Like this, just put the key in and boom.
Do you have all of them working like that?
90%.
90%. In addition to these cars, the upstairs is also full. There are
Cars that are a bit more unique or have more emotional connections, and they're upstairs. All right, now that's going up.
Which one was the first?
From the family between my father and me, the first arrived before I was born. There was an original FU car, and there was also a 128, the original FU car. My father foolishly sold it, then regretted it for life as its value soared. He also sold the 128, but after a while we were able to get it back, and if you want, I can show it to you later, or...
So that's the first one, and you still have it?
One of them is the first one, and we still have it, yes.
Which one is your favorite?
That's a very complicated answer, because each one has a charm you like, or you've put more effort into, or it was hard for you to find it. If we go by the story, the 128.
Which car was the hardest for you to find?
Does it come in now?
It comes in now. And which car would you never sell?
Me, the Replica, and the 11 Lightweight. I'm looking forward to the Replica being sold.
Because
I can't drive it, I'm too tall and I don't fit. I'm looking forward to him selling it.
But this one would never sell, so that's not working out.
¿Es peón cerijero a Citroën?
Does either of them have a personal story with any of them?
He has many personal stories. Most of the cars are personal stories.
He's like me.
They were bought from private owners, most of whom are elderly people who stopped driving and had their cars stored away. We still keep a small connection and friendship with these gentlemen.
This is very nice because it's not just about driving these classic cars, but also about the story behind each one of them.
A whole story. Upstairs there's a Bluebeard, a Nissan Bluebeard, that when I bought it, I bought it in Veladecan, and she told me, when you have it fixed, I'd like to go see it. And I let her know there.
After a while, she asked me, "Are you here?" "Yes, I'm coming.
They arrived, the woman looked, sat, and 2 tears fell. You can't imagine.
Yes, I know, because something very similar happened to me. There's a video on Mars Garage's channel about my father's Seat 600. I had it for almost, 2 or 3 years at La Setania School in Manresa. I restored it without telling my mother. One day I said I'd pick her up to see something, still not revealing anything. And they had restored my father's Seat 600. And when she saw it exactly, she started to cry. She almost fainted because she passed out on me. We had to find him a chair and sit him down. I mean, cars often have a much stronger connection than just four wheels and a piece of metal.
When I bought the replica in Madrid, specifically, I remember it was a gentleman who was a design engineer and set up standards. He explained it to me. It turns out he had a collection of cars there that you can't even imagine. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, Lancias, sports cars, Porsches. He owned around 70 cars, which was impressive. And well, the one I took, which was the replica, was the worst of all. Well, the worst, the lowest end, the least bad.
Stop.
Him. And he said that every car had a soul, and that there was always something behind every car. What happens is discovering either about the person who had owned it, or even about the person who made it, who assembled it. And that stayed with me. It stayed with me.
He was. Precisely. He had all the ground floors of a block of houses that were there in Las Rojas, Madrid.
Well,
The whole lower block was filled with cars there.
does this collector still exist?
I've looked for it and I can't find it because I remember it was called Alma Collection. Have I seen it?
Look, what was it called? Alma Collection? Yes.
Yes, everyone?
All cars have a soul, exactly?
Yes, good.
Name for the collection, right? Yes, good name.
I'm telling you, there are many little things and each vehicle has its own.
What do you think if we go upstairs and see this car that has a soul for you?
Whenever you want.
Huh? Well, let's go upstairs. Do you want to go upstairs? Shall we go upstairs? Do you want to go upstairs? Let's go see it.
He didn't give it to me.
One inspired by the legendary Mercedes Supersport Kurtz from 1929. It's a replica, but not just any replica. With its aggressive lines, its Art Deco aesthetic evokes an era when cars were not just machines, they were statements of power. Only 40 original units were made, driven by aristocrats and race car drivers. This replica keeps that brutal essence, low, long, exaggerated, and intimidating even at rest. It's not just a copy, it's an ode to a beast from another era. And one of the cars that Juan would never sell?
This classic was bought from an Argentinian gentleman from Pratt, and it was during the pandemic.
Who lived in Pratt? He lived in Pratt, right? Because he can't be an Argentinian gentleman from Pratt? Well, no, right? Let's be specific. He's either Argentinian or Catalan, okay?
He could be of Argentinian origin, born in Catalonia or in Spain, so...
You bought it from this gentleman?
An Argentinian gentleman owned it, and it was in the condition you see. The only difference is, I repainted it because its original red color had faded in spots from being parked on the street. This car's originality makes this video controversial. What do you think, Mark Bueno? And that's because this car comes from the European Community Unit, which is why it arrived in Spain. And they register it with these rims and these tires, which is why the technical sheet says it's from the European Union. Yes, but it tells you yes. The average tire sheet, rim, and speed rating. Unlike the approved ones, it adds it to the technical sheet instead of the remarks. Why is that? What happens is that now when I'm going to take it and restore it to its original state, since I have the original rim, I'm going to put a tire of the original size on it. They tell me that since it's a much higher speed rating, equivalent to 240 km per hour, we find that there is no equivalent tire, yes with a 14-inch rim, which is the original, but not the equivalent speed rating in a tire. That's why it won't pass the inspection if I change the tires and the rim. But because I would first have to get the original factory one approved. Incredible. This is the policy, and for now I'm accepting it. I still have the original rim because it's expensive and I don't want to let it go.
I understand you. I don't want to
invest in that aspect.
I understand you, as the same thing happened to me with a United States car that broke down before the tow truck arrived. They didn't have the original tire, so I put on some tires that weren't original, just to save the situation so I could take it with me. And then, when I wanted to put its own tires back on, they told me no. Well,
it's a yes, conclusion, yes, exactly. I understand why they don't let me return it to its original form like the way.
So when you move, do they handle the registration for you?
I presented the vehicle inspection because I inquired before investing in tires. I showed a photo from a friend who has the same car, also registered here in Spain with a national plate. From the start, the registration document was the same. The only difference was when homologation was approved versus when it was manufactured. But they don't like it. And I have to make a report with an engineer and have the engineer certify that this is how it was originally. When, after all, being able to submit a report from the factory itself, it would be...
Enough.
Well, no.
That would be logical, but you know that's not how it works here. The Subaru you have here really caught my attention. What's the story behind this car? You know, I really like Japanese cars, right?
It's,
with totally super modern lines.
And
weird at the same time. This
story could be explained to you by my father, who knows it like the back of his hand. Because he's the one who bought these vehicles. Besides, he explains it with this charisma, having lived through it.
I love this car. It's one of the cars I'd take for a vacation drive.
Well, I went to Andalusia with it last year in October. Once a year, I usually go down to Andalusia with a classic car. I have some friends in Jaén province, and they always organize something, and I try to get away.
First, we took the 84 Scirocco, and last year I used this one. It's great. You barely notice it on the highway, plus it has
the cruise control, so you don't have to keep accelerating. For a car from 92, which is what this one is, it's pretty advanced technology, and it's wonderful. You barely notice the speed or even the road. It's a four-wheel drive automatic, a 3.3 liter.
The spoiler that it already comes with, a car, and then the other one that goes on top. It's quite interesting how it's made. I love the seats.
The seats in this version are one way, and in whichever one you want, I'll show you. The seats are different. The covers are custom made.
Is it an SBT or rail?
The same? But this one varies. It varies. The interior varies a bit.
But why? Because of the year?
Isn't it because of the trim?
It has leather seats,
The seats are leather? Well, this item on the steering wheel is an accessory.
These are my father's ideas.
But the interior is practically the same.
These are my father's ideas. You don't seem to like anything unoriginal, do you? I get that.
And here as well, look at this detail. The seats are leather, but velvet like the first vehicle. So are these the details? Inconsistencies?
Me.
I'd say exactly, but look, the dashboard underneath also has the velvet. Yes.
Exactly. I didn't notice it until I moved aside.
It has velvet, but the seat is leather. This is the only difference between this vehicle and the other. Everything else, including the sunroof, is the same.
And the color?
And did you buy them at the same time, these two cars?
Explain to him how you got these cars.
I had a Porsche, a 993, which was my lifelong dream. I bought it in 2008, and then I kept it. Because that car had a problem for me, and the problem was that the car really started working at 160. It ran like silk. It's an impressive machine. I bought it in Madrid in 2008 and sold it in 2018. I had it for 10 years and I only did one oil change, 15.5 liters of oil because it's oil cooled.
Yes.
and I sold it.
And it needed a tune-up because those cars, when they have 50 or 55,000 kilometers, you have to take them apart and change the whole tip because they leak oil.
That happens to all Porsches.
Well, I have a 911 930, and I've had it for about 20 years, and I've basically only done an oil change on it, and that's it.
Yours is also oil-cooled.
Yes, it's from 81.
And
It doesn't lose a single drop of oil.
the chief mechanic himself told me, the one who owns 3 Porsches from Koenig workshops in Barcelona. Or
Mine has 100, 114, or 115,000 miles, which is almost 200,000 kilometers. I've had it for 20 years. I've only done oil changes, a fuel pump, and, well, belts and things like that for maintenance.
oh, wow, you know what happens? I had gone to Andalusia because I used it for trips. I had gone to Andalusia 3 times, and each time when I arrived in Andalusia, it made me feel bad. My whole body hurt.
Yeah.
Because of the cushioning. And of course,
No.
It has nothing to do with it. It is. So I say, well, I've caught Portuguese fever. I'll sell it.
And did you buy this Mitsubishi?
I still had the itch for a sports car.
It's a Subaru SVT, yeah. It's a...
Vex.
Looking for cars over 200 horsepower, this one appears. And here in Barcelona, I go to see it, and it turns out it's a doctor who has a very famous gynecology clinic. He's retired now?
I don't know him, no.
I'm going to...
That kind of...
Doctors, I'm not going to tell you the name. And it turns out he had it as a spare, because he had that one, and they had offered him a spare one from Barcelona. But he did it. He says, I've had it here 5 years, paying 120 euros for parking. What am I supposed to do? Should I get rid of it just because it won't break down? Then
It...
As a spare, but it doesn't break down.
we left for a drive. The car worked perfectly, and I suggested coffee. We stayed for over 3 hours. We talked, but cars were barely mentioned. He's an eminence. He's a fantastic person, right? I don't know if I should say the name, but well... I brought him.
And what happened with the other one? Because if it was him...
Wait, here's the story.
Did you have more? Did you?
3 hours later, I did.
I had a bruise here, and this one did too. And I thought I would have to replace the whole gate. And I went to Subaru in Sabadell, and look, the man from Subaru in Sabadell says, where did you get this car? I said, well, from Barcelona. He says, I've been looking for one for 5 years. I said, why is that? He says, well, because I sold 7 of the 75 that were sold in Spain. I sold 7, he says, and now I dream of owning one. He tells me, if you want 6,000 euros, leave it there, and I can take you on the bus.
and it had cost me 3.
I said no. In the end, we fixed the gate issue for him. And he said, let's say, and then Mr. Subaru, the manager of Subaru in Sabadell, who was the first Subaru distributor in Spain. Specifically, he found one in Germany. So he got it fixed up in red, since he wanted a red one, a scarlet red. That's what he was looking for.
An original red one? Ah, yes, of course. So a newer one wasn't good enough.
So he brought it from Germany, fixed it up, got it ready, and he says, look, I've spent more than 20,000 euros fixing up the car. Yes.
Yes, we all know what it's worth. Of course.
And
That it was him, that he was the official. Yes, it says here, look at Adrevi. Car, thank you.
You can't talk much.
with these numbers.
I've
Never.
never spent this much on a car. That's crazy.
So I bought it
Let's see, what have you done?
shortly after we met. I ran into him at a restaurant that was there.
I say, wow, a Subalba SVX, one of the rare ones. So I ask, who's the owner?
He says, at that table, I went over and greeted him. It was the gentleman, the manager, the owner.
He says it's already taken care of. And besides, we're friends.
So after a while, I explained to him about the club. He joined the club, our Mr. Classic. And one day he calls me and says, hey, where did you buy that car?
The Subaru, which one is it? I say, in Barcelona.
a doctor. He says it's just that they called me from Subaru in Barcelona, that they have one precisely from a doctor who owns it and is selling it. And to get it, if we need it for a replacement, for one thing or another. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look and...
This one appears.
And this one appears. Which was the other one?
The one you had seen initially?
To the same man. We agreed and brought him. And then Ferran says, well, look, you've already paid for it, you paid for it, and that's it. In any case, we'll sort it out later.
Ferran is a collector in Sabadell.
He manages the Subaru dealership in Sabadell.
Okay.
He also has a red SUVX.
We mentioned.
Actually, the other day, someone asked me if I knew this gentleman.
Well, look.
We already have.
The link.
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
She's a great...
But he collects cars, right? No.
No, he has two.
He has a company and an SUV.
Okay, it's just that they told me he has a collection of Japanese cars. He's from Sabadell.
No, at most he has two.
Units. No, but Ferran, typical.
The woman hassles us.
How do you want to say it? Never.
We never have space, but there's always room for one more.
Like sugarcane, right? I mean, is mine a saint? No.
Time for the women, later.
That's the
Problem. If there's money for cars, there's also money for vacations, right?
And when it is
Grass.
of the week. Anyway, exactly. We bought it, and then he tells my son, I'll take one for you and one for me. Fantastic.
It all depends on the type of vacation you want to have, you know?
These vehicles are hard to repair, and workshops can't handle them.
No, if I break down or get stranded, I can't call it perfect. I had a problem. You were driving without knowing why it kept stopping. Each time, you'd restart the car, keep going, and then it would stop again after a while. So he took it, and it took him 3 months to find the problem, huh? 3 months? And it was a problem with a control unit it had. That's the problem. He ordered the control unit from Japan, installed it, and solved the issue.
But spare parts aren't cheap either. No, because in this vehicle, since it's automatic, the RPMs would go up, but it wouldn't accelerate. So the sensor is inside the gearbox, and they don't sell you the sensor because it's considered a part of the gearbox assembly. They must sell you the whole gearbox
So that you can get the sensor.
get the sensor. We're talking about 1,800 euros just for the gearbox. Yes, luckily these people, they'll wait.
Besides getting more, yes.
Yes, besides that, they could fix it and they could solve it, but...
That's very important. The mechanic who knows how to solve it for you. I'm having the same problems now with the Nissan 300 Turbo. I took it to Dynasty and we bought the injectors it needed, but in the end, they're not the right ones. Why? Well, because there was a recall, one of those recalls where these injectors had a defect and then they changed the control unit and the type of injector they used. That car originally had it, but it was already at the dealership during the recall. What's happening? That 20 or 30 years later, someone takes the car in for repairs because those injectors are leaking and then they're not the original ones. And that's where the problem starts. The problem.
Using original spare parts is crucial.
We have a mechanic.
Yes, but instead it's not an original spare part that they put in. And now we know it from a Mercedes S-Class 450. And that's what leads to that type of injectors is also...
And
this? That's why, thank you, and I say this from the bottom of my heart to Teleres Dynasty, who have taken all this time watching forums, all this to find out what the problem was, and soon I'll have it working. That's what happens with this kind of car. It's so unusual that it grabs your attention. It grabbed mine. Of all your cars here in the collection, it's the one that caught my attention the most. Yes.
If you say so, how it runs,
Not to...
it has nothing...
To envy a Porsche 911, nobody. This is exactly what I say. With my Nissan 300 ZX Turbo, I have a Porsche 911. I have a good time. It's a great car, but the Nissan 300... Gentlemen, it's brutal, comfortable.
Shall we go?
Are you guys looking at the garage? Yeah, why did you put this on it?
I met someone there who gave me the handle.
And you thought it was funny. Yeah, Mr. Joan told me to sit in the Talbot. Tagora is not a car I personally like, but I sit in it because it's very comfortable. Oh, yes, this is really true. That's,
Sofa at home. It's from home, right? Yes.
even mine. Oh, yes, yes. I mean, look, they're gorgeous. Look, are you going to see the seat right here next to me?
They're very wide. They don't have the ergonomic shape. No.
No, because it's ergonomic for a home sofa. Exactly, huh, Michael?
I think junkyards used to make these seats. They'd put regular wheelchair wheels on them and make office chairs.
Come on, let's start it up.
Full throttle.
Michael, huh? Does it sound very smooth? Very, very smooth. Car super smooth. How many kilometers? 141,000 kilometers?
Mikhail, check.
What's going on here?
The comfort and smoothness of the ride, honestly, it's impressive. I mean, you really enjoy it. It feels like the style of the Mercedes S-Class.
We'll have to come one day just to test the cars and see what kind of feeling they give. Taking them out on the street. Let's stop it. Like the 406, this one.
This car is a car I bought in bad condition. Besides restoring the exterior, it had some major oil leaks. I wanted it to be original. A good friend at Peugeot said, "Bring it here and we'll make it original for you." They did a great job, but there's one peculiarity I personally dislike.
And it's
That they used a different head gasket and didn't use the original one. They put this silicone on it,
which,
of course, they do the same work. But when you press and close the lid, not only does burr remain on the outside, but burr can also remain on the inside. Yes, I think this is the one. I think this could have been avoided, but aside from this minor, unimportant issue, it doesn't really matter.
did you paint the whole car? Can you close the hood so we can see Pininfarina's beautiful design? It's a car that's not very appreciated in the classic car world because it's still very modern. But we all know that this little badge here, yes,
Is the characteristic feature.
it's what changes the whole look of the vehicle.
I always try to have custom covers from this manufacturer ready because they work really well, they fit perfectly, and not much dust gets in.
How much do these cost?
These covers? Well, they're pretty heavy. I don't know if you've seen them. You can try them out. They're amazing. There are outdoor and indoor ones. The indoor ones I need cost about 200 euros. But it's wonderful because your car can breathe and dust doesn't get inside. And that?
The problem with not letting it breathe is that it can get damp inside.
Condensation, right? That's when the rust begins. I don't understand why there's a mark here. An oil stain.
Or mold on the seats and the
Mold on the seats, so the
cars.
closed cars are preferred. Partly because it's also advised to keep the windows up. Also, to prevent too much moisture from coming in from outside. So, at least for me, I always keep the cars closed.
We can take a look inside, right? And
That makes all of this stay preserved much better.
with its original leather seats with minimal wear. How many kilometers did it have when you bought it?
When I bought it, it had 206, 203, 204 around there. I don't remember the exact number. I bought it from a man who had 3 like it. He has a yellow one, 2 red ones, and used this one as a donor for the others. But the man needed to free up some space, so he put it up for sale. I bought it for an affordable price, about 1,000 euros, but then I invested more into it.
The advantage is
That the interior was in very good condition, and when the interior is in very good condition, well, it doesn't hurt you. Then I'll invest a little more in the
in the exterior and mechanics.
Mechanics and tires.
But you told me you don't use it, that it's temporarily out of service.
Yes, it's a vehicle from '98 after all, and
Why? And
We are big fans of classic cars. So for now, this isn't a classic car, but it will be in the future.
It's also a car that has a lot of technology, and of course, the more classic car is more basic.
It has far less technology and electronics, but it's still a working car. It has about 190 horsepower and responds well when you accelerate. It's great.
he's maturing. It's like a
Fruit, it's getting nice.
I think they're maturing cars. I agree with Mikkel, and I think that over time it's going to become a very sought-after classic. Because it has a beautiful engine, it has a fabulous interior with leather seats and the Pininfarina design. What more could you ask for in a 24-valve car?
Right, it's a 9-valve engine.
3,000...
V6.
Yes, okay, and if we want, we can start it up and you'll see that it runs perfectly. We always add a disconnect switch, so it doesn't, I think...
That my subscribers aren't that type. The ones who want you to start the car, right? And hear the engine? I don't think so. Are you sure?
Well, for those who do, but...
I do.
Yes, we do.
Just in case, huh?
No, just in case, but for those who do...
Just in case. Oh, right.
Guys, let's try.
Huh? Let's see how a V6 24-valve sounds.
There's one thing, it's cold.
No, don't rev it.
I really like one thing about countryside vehicles, besides their good upholstery, and it's that I like original radios, and it's very hard to find an original radio, and this radio has the peculiarity that it's original. It also has a feature where the cover lifts up when you turn it on.
Well, this gets you going.
I really like this. Also, I have the code, because when you remove the disconnect switch or the terminal it resets, I have the original code. I love them. I recently bought a GSI CAD and I went on eBay to look for the original radio, and I'll end up installing it. Yes, I like original radios. It's hard to find them because it's very difficult, but yes, it's cool. It's really cool. Of course, then here you have the plastic. I have the right one, which is the one that opens and folds away. So these are extras that were really nice back in the day.
It can remain open like a panoramic roof or closed.
Is it warmed up? Can you turn it off now?
Yes, now it's a bit warm and the temperature has gone up a little. I have to say, this isn't advertising, but since I started using the product I saw on your channel, Mark from the Principles, which is Soltec, it's amazing because I've avoided repair problems. I had a 635 that was burning oil, and it was because the engine seals had dried out. So what I did was change the oil. I put in an oil with good...
With dirty oil, it doesn't do anything.
And since it's a good reservoir. I put in 2 Soltecs until I reached the right level, and it made it run, and I drove it about 200 kilometers. It reduced, changed half of what it was burning, and that was enough for me to get by. ITV, yes, it was still burning a little bit of oil because you can't avoid that, okay? It creates a film, and it worked well. And in all the cars, of course, it's not a cheap product, so I have to do it proactively. All the cars have it, and this one in particular has it, and it's wonderful. These work well and help prevent it from dropping to the floor when turned on. Because when a car is out of service, you can't drive it, so you have to start it up so it keeps working. The oil circulates. And that's it, without braking, without having any gear engaged or anything, to avoid possible breakdowns. Honestly, since buying the Soltec, I've been very happy.
And we'll leave it here for today. This has only been a part because there are many more cars here waiting to be discovered. Each has its own story, past, and a surprise or two. If you enjoyed this visit, we'll come back another day to keep telling their unique stories. But for today, it's gotten late because we have to take this Vespino for a completely crazy change, which you'll see in an upcoming video. That's all for today, friends. See you soon in the next episode. Bye. My name is Mark and I'm crazy about cars.